Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I hope students you are doing good. Chapter number 15, sampling distribution is under discussion. Today, lecture number 2. And in this lecture, I will discuss some important terms of the sampling and sampling distribution, that is errors, bias, accuracy, and precision. Now, students, kindly subscribe to my channel and give your feedback. Let's start the topic with important definitions, errors, bias, accuracy, and precision. In the contents of this lectures, I will discuss some important definitions. At the first point, I will discuss sampling error and non-sampling error. In the second point, I will discuss amount of bias. In the third point, precision and accuracy. And the fourth points, I will discuss sample and compute enumerations. And the last point is advantages of sampling methods. These are the terms which is I'm going to discuss one by one. First of all, I will discuss what is the difference between sampling error and non-sampling error. The difference between the value of a statistic and actual or true value of its corresponding population parameter is called sampling error. Any value which is calculated from sample data is called statistic, and any value which is calculated from population information which is called parameter. दोनों का difference students कहलाएगा which is sampling error. Or sampling error is the difference between the statistic and parameter. Sampling error tends to zero as sample size tends to the population size. जब भी आपके पास sample size increase होगा और वो close to population size होगा तो sampling error becomes to zero. This is the definition of sampling error. On right hand side, I will explain non-sampling error. Non-sampling error are all kinds of human errors which occurs at the stages of collection and processing of data. These errors arise due to faulty sampling frame, biased methods of selection of units, bias in response, non-response, measurement error, processing and coding error, editing error, etc. These are all kinds of non-sampling error और ये आपको फेस करने पड़ेंगे जब आप लोग कलेक्ट कर रहे होंगे डाटा को, डाटा की कलेक्शन में और डाटा की प्रोसेसिंग में. तो आपके पास इसको इंक्लूड तमाम किस्म के एरर्स जो हैं जहाँ पे जिससे हमारे पास जो है वो एरर जनरेट होगा वो आपका इंक्लूड होगा नॉन सैम्पलिंग एरर के अंदर. In the second point, I will discuss amount of bias. Amount of bias refers to the difference between the expected value or average value of an estimator and the true value of the population parameter it aims to estimate. Now, the difference between the expected value of any statistic and population parameter is called amount of bias, and formula is that expected value of theta hat is minus theta, and where the theta hat is the estimator, for example sample mean, and theta is the population parameter, and sample mean के against में जो आपके पास population parameter होगा which is the population mean mu, or expected value of theta hat called expected value of any estimator of any statistic. And if here is the difference between the expected value of theta hat and population parameter theta, and the sampling error we discussed the difference between of the any statistic and parameter is called sampling error. But the difference is that here we use expected value of theta hat, यानी हम लोग किसी भी statistics की expected और average value को calculate करेंगे और उसको population parameters से जो है उसका difference use करेंगे which is called amount of bias. If the amount of bias is zero, the estimator is said to be unbiased. अगर उनके दरमियान में डिफरेंस बिल्कुल जीरो है तो एक्सपेक्टेड वैल्यू ऑफ थीटा हेड इज ऑलवेज इक्वल टू थीटा, और इसको हम लोग जो है इस एस्टिमेटर को जो भी एस्टिमेटर आप लोग यूज कर रहे हैं वो आपके पास अनबायस्ड एस्टिमेटर होगा. और सेकेंडली अ पॉजिटिव बायस मीन्स दैट द एस्टिमेटर टेंड्स टू ओवर एस्टिमेट द ट्रू वैल्यू. जब हमारे पास एक्सपेक्टेड वैल्यू ऑफ थीटा हेड की वैल्यू जो है वो ग्रेटर देन थीटा हेड होगी विच इज द पॉजिटिव बायस. Or a negative bias means that the estimator tends to underestimate the true value. It means that the expected value of theta hat is less than theta, यानी हमारे पास average value of any estimator की value जो है वो कम होगी population parameter theta से, तो वो हमारे पास negative bias होगा, that is the underestimate the true value. This is the brief introduction about the amount of bias. Now, another important term in sampling distribution is that accuracy and precision. First of all, I will explain accuracy. Accuracy refers to how close a measured or calculated value is to the actual value. It means that measured value is how much close to the true value. For example, if the actual length of a rod is 10 centimeter, this is the actual value, and your measurement is 9.9 centimeter. It is accurate because it is close to the true value. Accuracy is also called correctness. Here 9.9 centimeter is the measured value and 10 centimeter is the actual value, and there is a very close to actual value, so difference is very small, so it is called the measurement is your accurate. On the right hand side, I will explain the term precision. Precision refers to how close repeated measurement are to each other, regardless of whether they are close to the actual value. यानी आपके पास जो भी repeated measurements होंगी वो आपस में close होंगी एक दूसरे के, but they are far from the actual value. For example, if you measure the length of a rod 5 times and get 9.2 centimeter each time, your measurements are precise because they are consistent, but not accurate because they are far from 10 centimeter. 10 centimeter is the actual value और वो actual value से काफ़ी ज़्यादा जो है वो आपके पास दूर है, इसलिए ये आपके पास ये आपस में तो वो precision है, लेकिन ये कि वो actual value से इसका difference बहुत ज़्यादा है, तो this is called precision. और precision में आपके पास जो है वो consistency होती है, this is also called consistency. This is the difference between the accuracy and precision. Now students, in the fourth point, I will discuss sample and compute enumeration. Information on population may be collected in two ways. First of all, complete enumeration or census. In a census, every unit in the population is enumerated. It means that each and every unit has been counted or considered. On the other hand, in sample enumerations or sample survey, in the sample survey, the enumeration is limited only a part और सैंपल सेलेक्टेड फ्रॉम अ पॉपुलेशन, तो उसमें से हम लोग पॉपुलेशन का कुछ हिस्सा जो है इसको डिस्कस करते हैं. दिस इज कॉल्ड सैंपल सर्वे. दैट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन द कंप्लीट एन्यूमरेशन एंड सैंपल एन्यूमरेशन. In the last point, I will discuss the advantages of sampling methods. The following are the advantages of sampling as compared with complete enumeration. First point is that reduced cost. A sample survey will usually be less costly than a complete census. Second point is greater speed. The data can be collected and processed more quickly in a sample survey than a complete census. In the third point, greater accuracy. The results from a carefully planned and well executed sample survey are expected to be more accurate than those from a complete census. Fourth point is the greater scope. Sample survey have more scope and flexibility regarding the type of information that can be obtained. Fifth point is that descriptive test. The units or objects being observed are destroyed in the process of collecting the information. Here sampling is only the solution. So students, these are the advantages of the sampling methods. In short, sample survey is more important than the complete enumeration. In this lecture, some important terms or definitions of sampling distribution has been discussed. इंशाल्लाह स्टूडेंट्स नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में आपसे मुलाकात होगी नेक्स्ट टॉपिक के साथ. अपना ख्याल रखिएगा और मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें, अपना फीडबैक जरूर दें. ओके स्टूडेंट्स, अल्लाह हाफिज़, थैंक यू.